Long ago, in a peaceful riverside village, there lived a poor scholar named Chu Van. Born into hardship, he survived by teaching and copying documents. Despite poverty, Chu Van nurtured a great dream: to succeed in the imperial examinations and bring honor to his family. Yet fate was unkind, for every attempt ended in failure. Weary and disheartened, he returned home in silence. One day, passing through a bustling town, he witnessed a bride-choosing ceremony at the Grand Li mansion. The young lady, Meng, famed for her beauty and grace, was to cast a silk ball into the crowd. Whoever caught it would become her husband. While others shouted and scrambled, Van stood calm and motionless. His serenity drew Meng's attention. In a fateful moment, she smiled and tossed the ball directly to him. From a nameless pauper, Chu Van suddenly became the son-in-law of the powerful Li family. At first, he was deeply grateful. He cherished Meng, respected her father, and won the family's trust. When her father passed, the entire fortune and business fell into Chu Van's hands. Overnight, he rose from rags to riches, basking in wealth and power. But prosperity corrupted his heart. Chu Van grew cold. Toward his wife, neglected her, and openly flaunted concubines. People scorned him as an ungrateful man, forgetting it was the Li family who raised him to glory. Eventually, he hatched a sinister plan: to kill Meng and erase her shadow from his rise. Pretending affection, he lured her away. One night while she slept, he suffocated her with a pillow, ending the life of the woman who had once saved his own. From now on, the Li family shall bear the name Cho, he whispered triumphantly. But fate struck back. The next morning, Chu Van awoke in rags, frail and filthy, surrounded by ruins. When he rushed to the Li mansion, the guards mocked and drove him away as a mad beggar. No one remembered his name. In despair, he heard Meng's voice. She revealed that in a past life she had been a carp rescued by Chu Van out of gratitude. She became human to repay him with love, fortune, and honor. But he betrayed her twice, blinded by greed. Your blessings are gone, our bond is severed. From then on, Chu Van lived a life of poverty, shame, and loneliness, haunted by dreams of his wife's disappointed face. Years later, he died in a broken hut, unwept and forgotten. This story is a stark reminder: a man who cherishes his wife cultivates blessings for himself. A wife can be a partner, a savior, a fortune bringer. To betray her is to sever one's destiny and invite ruin. The story of Chu Van and Meng, at first glance, it seems like nothing more than a folk legend. Yet in truth, it contains many layers of meaning or mirror that reflects human nature, the law of cause and effect, and the sacred bond of marriage. From gratitude to betrayal, the nature of the human heart. Chu Van was born poor, yet through Meng he was able to rise and change his fate. People often say, in times of hardship, the one who extends a helping hand is not just a friend, but a true benefactor. And yet, once Chu Van gained wealth and power, he turned his back, erasing every trace of gratitude. The danger here is not merely betrayal, it is ingratitude. A person who forgets their roots, who denies their debt of kindness, is like a tree ripped from its soil. Sooner or later it must wither. Chu Van is the very embodiment of this truth. His entire life was built upon the blessings of another, but with the sharp blade of ingratitude, he cut down the very branch of fortune that sustained him. When love becomes a ladder or a mirror, Meng was not just a wife, she was the ladder that allowed Chu Van to climb toward glory. Yet to him the ladder was only for stepping on, to be discarded once he had reached the top. This is the timeless tragedy. So many view love and marriage as tools, as stepping stones, rather than as a bond of companionship and mutual support. True love is not something to exploit, it is a mirror, reflecting the true nature of the soul. Chu Van revealed his greed and coldness, while Meng, though wounded, revealed her boundless compassion and nobility in her final moments. The law of cause and effect: you reap what you sow in Buddhist teachings. The union of husband and wife is never random. It is the unfolding of karma from past lives, sometimes to repay a debt, sometimes to return a kindness. Chu Van once saved a carp, which in truth was Meng's former existence. She cultivated herself into human form and came to repay him with love, loyalty, and fortune. Yet Chu Van failed to cherish her. Twice he plotted to harm her. The seed he sowed was ingratitude, betrayal, and murder, and the harvest was inevitable. Losing everything, living in loneliness, and dying in poverty. This cause and effect is not merely mystical retribution, it is also psychological truth. When you betray the one who loves you most, you cut yourself off from trust, from support, and in the end, you are left with nothing but emptiness and despair. Lessons for modern marriage today. Countless marriages collapse due to betrayal or a single moment of blind greed. A man may be wealthy, talented, and powerful, but if he betrays the wife who sacrificed everything for him, he becomes no different from Van, cutting off the very roots of his own blessings. A wife is not only a companion, often she is a guardian of fortune. A wife who understands, sacrifices, and endures hardship side by side is like a talisman protecting the entire family. But if she is despised or betrayed, the downfall is inevitable. We see this in society again and again. Many who grow rich abandon their wives of humble origins, yet soon they find themselves in endless disputes, lawsuits, isolation, and at life's end. Not a single heart truly remains beside them. This is nothing but Van's fate, repeated in reality. The lasting message. This story conveys a profound message. He who cherishes his spouse preserves his virtue and blessings. He who betrays gratitude will, sooner or later, lose everything. Marriage is not only love, it is responsibility, and a karmic bond across many lives. To uphold the bond of husband and wife is to safeguard one's own destiny. In other words, to love your wife is to sow the seeds of blessing for your entire life.